I've got the Hootie Who in the house today and Mr. Rob Gates of Savage Arms. So for all of you who don't know Hootie Who, you're going to want to listen right now. Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt. This episode is brought to you by Ruger. Find out more at Ruger.com and Loophole Optics. Find them at Loophole.com. All right, welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and I'm here with Rob Gates and Mr. Adam. This is Hootie Who. Like, we finally got him on. Like, it's been a while since we've been able to connect.
It's been a while, but we've hung out like 5 times this year. I know.
So, yeah. And it's always good. It's always good.
Good people.
But we're out here at Melon Creek Outfitters in Refugio, Texas, and we're on a media hunt. And Rob, you're with Savage. What do we kind of walk us through, like kind of putting this event together? And because you hunt all over the world.
Very blessed to be able to do what I do, but it does come with a cost of being away from home an awful lot and missing some football games and things like that. So there's good and bad to all of it. But we're here shooting pigs and predators.
Yeah. Well, you guys are shooting pigs and predators. I'm shooting at pigs and predators.
There's been
it still counts. Yeah, it's always fun, and I think we get locked into a lot of, you have to be successful on a hunt to make it enjoyable, and that's just not the case. And how many times have we, like, all of us, been in those situations where you're like, you just aren't successful.
Yeah,
and it's just as much
it's
fun.
Hunting, it's not shooting, and it's what we talked about it this morning as we were hunting. It's about the conversations and the camaraderie, or the time you spend together, and you learn about different things. And one of the guys, he just moved his mom from Pennsylvania down to where he lives, and all of that kind of stuff that you just it's not about, for me at least, it's not about the
it's about sitting around that dinner table and like having good conversation, and it bleeds over into midnight, and all of a sudden 1 o'clock rolls around and you're like, oh my gosh, we got to get up on 4 hours.
Yeah.
but it's always been one of those things that media hunts, I don't know if like people understand what media hunts like are. And some of my favorite hunts are media hunts because we get to see new product and you get to see a lot of new product too on your channel. So what are you seeing new out here that has piqued your interest?
On this trip?
Yeah, on this one.
So this baby right here, this is...
I'll go ahead and pick it up. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're listening to this, you're probably going to want to jump over to our social channels to view it, because then you'll get to see what we're talking about. We'll describe it as good as we can.
I'll tell you the one thing that impresses me with this, obviously there's action and everything, which I'm sure we're going to get into that here in a second, but it's the weight. And it's threaded. I love the weight, and it's threaded. You did one of the
very first reviews. In fact, if you search on Savage Impulse, it pops up one of your reviews on
Hog Hunter
the
model,
Hog Hunter version.
Right.
And so
this is brand new, launched this week. This is the Impulse Driven Hunter.
Driven Hunter, yes.
All right, Rob, give us the rundown real quick, because then I want to talk about.
We've had Impulse out for a couple years now, and because it's multi-caliber, you'll be able to change. If you buy a Hog Hunter in 308 and you want to change it to 6.5 Creedmoor or 243 or whatever, we'll be selling barrels, bolt heads, and magazines, so it's user convertible. But because of that, it's long and short in one action, so it's a little heavier. And so we got some feedback on that Hog Hunter specifically with that heavy bull barrel, that guys that are out doing driven hunts in Europe and things like that wanted something a little lighter, so we went with a medium sporter barrel on this one. The action's exactly the same, left hand, right hand convertible, with basically a ballpoint pin and straight pull, which is a really unique and cool action. Once you get to using it, it's very different from what Americans are used to shooting.
Well, and on this type of trip, it makes a lot of sense because I came into this trip thinking, okay, we're going to be in blinds during the morning and evening hours. Then we're going to go predator hunting during the day, like more of the coyote thing. But this one is not that. It's so thick down here. We are basically running roads in trucks and going, there they are, let's get out. And a straight pull rifle makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, the follow-up shots are much quicker. It's not a semi-auto, but it's quicker than a bolt gun, especially when you're in a tripod situation or off the edge of a blind or something like that. You can work this straight pull action. Yeah. It takes probably, in my opinion, 15 movements, but probably 25 to 30 to really get used to pulling the trigger and just working that action. And I tell people to think pump action shotgun.
Yes.
You can't just baby the movement.
You've got to run it. And that's what I was going to ask you guys is that in your experience with this, like what has been like your few takeaways on like if someone's going out and they're considering an impulse, like what advice would you give them initially when they get it? Would it be that dry fire practice, man, run that action? Like you got to run it like you mean it.
Sure. Anything mechanical, the more you use it, the smoother things get. And so the gun's going to feel a little tight when you first pick it up, but you move it 25, 30 times and it's, anything metal that smooths
it's
out
gotta work
dramatically. It's got to work in. Just like a bolt gun will do the same thing or
a lever action.
Lever action.
Yeah, lever action's 100%. Because we were just talking about the 360 Buckhammer that was launched. And just lever actions have taken off. I feel like if you didn't launch a lever action or a long range light backcountry rifle this year, you're kind of missing out. But this is what, 7 pounds?
A little less
than 7 pounds.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's got our AccuFit system, so it's adjustable for length and comb height. So depending on what type of optic you put on it, you can kick the comb up a little bit. And
well, I think that's one thing because I took a one of your 110s, but we're also shooting a 110 carbon Predator out here
with a proof barrel.
With a proof barrel, and that's
pretty sweet too.
Yeah,
it's my favorite. It's my favorite rifle that we've built in a while. Short 18-inch barrels, so you can put a suppressor on it and have a nice package that swinging the gun, shooting predators, multiple shots it swings really nice.
So I have to ask. So Rob brought his son out. And the kid is 13-year-old. He shot more than any of us.
Oh, yeah.
Probably combined. I think he's on like what, hog number 3.
He's shot 3 hogs and a coyote. Yeah. The kid can shoot. He can shoot. We went to our first PRS match about a year ago and he whipped my butt.
See? Really? And he did.
He scored far better, and he's
just a natural.
Yeah, he's left eye dominant. So early on, I started having him shoot left-handed guns, and that's what he likes, the impulse, because we can move the bolt handle over to the other side.
So that's funny because my son is left-handed, and he has shot deer both left-handed and right-handed. And I'm like, buddy, you got it. You need to stick left-handed. Like, you need to shoot this way. I know it's going to feel weird, but in the long run, you won't be like me because I'm the same way. Left eye dominant, trying to shoot right. And it doesn't work out.
No, I've got it from me. As soon as I found out he was left eye dominant, we got a left-handed bow. We got left-handed rifles, and he functions a lot better. Yeah.
So has he done many classes?
No, other than listening to Dad.
Yeah.
But
sometimes that's all it takes.
Sometimes you can do.
Yeah, but not at 10, 12, 13. I've almost flipped it the other way and said, I'm just going to shut up and let somebody else teach him because he'll listen to them. He doesn't, dumb dad.
So Adam over here, I have to tell this story. So Adam over here,
oh no,
you don't know this story yet because I haven't told you yet. So last night you went to bed right before I did, and I'm walking in to the room, and I'm rooming right next to you, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm trying to look, and I see his dress Crocs out by the door, and I'm looking under, and I'm like, what is that? And it's like this something furry, and I'm like, is there a mouse? Because we had just killed a possum out there earlier, and I'm like, did a mouse get in here? I'm like, what is it? And then I go, oh, I know what he did. He scalped his coyote. Didn't you?
Coyote tail. Yeah, my boy collects tails, so that's for my boy. I put the Crocs on it so the wind wouldn't blow it away. I didn't think it would be right to bring it in the room.
No, I agree with the decision. I didn't think about then I remember he collects tails because he has raccoon tails.
Yeah.
And he just hunts.
Very cool.
So did he come into it just naturally watching you? Because I think that's one of the biggest things, like as viewers and as like consumers of our shows and your show, your channel, Hootie Who, and people just getting into the sport is like, how do I get my kids to love it? Like your kid is ate up with it.
Oh, he loves it just as much as I do, if not more. I think, but he has an older brother and he has an older sister, and they're kind of, meh.
They can
If
take it or
there's
leave it.
absolutely nothing better to do, I might come with you. But he's asking me, when are we going squirrel hunting? When can we go turkey hunting? He doesn't care what it is.
He just loves it.
Yeah, so some of them
And
like it,
he's
some
got
of
a
them
good
don't.
teacher too, because he's always going.
You just got to give them the opportunity to make that choice on their own. Because I've seen it with, oldest daughter loves it, loves to go out and hunt. Middle daughter, not so much. Older brother, a little bit. Killed his first deer with a bow. Killed his first turkey with a bow. But Sawyer, he's
You can tell he's ate
Yeah.
up. Like, anytime, like, because I've been in a lot of these camps, and it's always interesting to me to see, like, when I know there's young people there, like, who's like the first up and who's ready to go in. Now Sawyer, not the most morning person I've seen, but he's here.
He's here. He's here. He loves the afternoon hunts.
Yes. Yeah. Afternoon hunting is the best. But yeah, it's always interesting to me, like, because, man, when kids get into camp and stuff like that, you always kind of watch how they function, and he's mixing it up. He's laughing along with everybody. Like, you've done well in getting him in the outdoors, and man, he is smoking all of us.
Yeah.
We were going to check where a hog was last night, and he was like, oh yeah, he was out here last night. And I was like, that wouldn't happen to be him in the ditch, would it? and it was Sawyer. Sawyer had shot it, like, I guess, like, just a little bit before that. And I was like, dang go.
He's been lucky this trip for
Do
sure.
not
The
get in
coolest
front of
thing
him.
is the text message from mom, thanking me for, teaching the son man stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing man stuff and being around men and seeing and learning, and that's really cool.
That's important because
that's
we
why
don't.
I brought him. He's on fall break, no school. I needed to make a trip. Mom had some plans, and so he came along.
I'm glad you brought him, because that is something that seems to be missing in today's culture is men raising men.
Yes.
You out there, you working on the lawnmower, come on. Here's the tools, here's what we're doing.
Yeah,
That
line
kind
them
of
out
thing,
like,
yeah.
hey, this is what I'm doing. And we were doing the same thing with reloading. Like, I was like, hey, boys, get in here. Here's what we're reloading bullets today. And they took those rounds and they used them on their deer this year. And
That's cool.
And to see
That's
that
super
transition in, like, oh my gosh, like, they held on to that showcase. Like, we're never reloading this one, right, Dad? Like, but doing men's stuff with them, like, God, it's just such, like, it just drives me nuts in days, and I don't want to get on a rant because they don't want to hear.
You're not allowed to fight in school anymore and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But teach them to do, like, dude stuff, like bring them to camp, bring them around.
The coolest
good
thing with
guys.
him is what happens after the preparation part of it. This kid's making Scotch eggs that he learned from a friend, and he's taking venison that we harvested and mixing it with pork sausage and soft boiling eggs, and I mean, beautiful stuff.
No kidding.
And so he's learning. We haven't done the reloading side of it, but he's learning the hunting, the shooting, the harvesting to the preparation side, and loving it.
That's one thing so my boys, like, I was like, everybody was like, when do you get them into hunting? When do you start them? Mine is when they understood that it's not about killing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about that. Like, that's when, for me, I was like, my oldest, he was at 10 years old and he understood, and he went out and researched, like, this is what we do. This is the conservation side of it. And now that spurred on his younger brother to say, I want to shoot my deer before 10 years old. And so there was a competition thing going on there. So play the competition thing, definitely.
But we love it. And if we don't help get more kids, it's a big story that we got to get them in. But for me, having him do the entire process, knowing where that food came from is critical, because they go eat chicken fingers and they don't realize that there's, out of every one chicken, there's only 2 chicken fingers.
Right.
But you back into it from harvesting the deer and processing and making sausage and all of that. And I think it's critical to know that kind of stuff, know what you're eating and where it came from.
Yeah. And that's, oh my gosh. And I'm sure you have to deal with that too. I mean, it sounds like your youngest doesn't leave your side.
Well, no. He started hunting last year when he was 5. He shot 4 whitetail when he was 5. And people, he loves every minute of it.
Yeah.
And this year he was 6, and his thing was, I want to gut it, and he wants to help clean it.
Really?
I haven't quite let him do that yet with the knife. He only weighs like 40 pounds. You know what I mean?
That's when you start.
But he wants to so bad.
That's when you give
watches
him a dull, and you give him a dull knife, and let him start kind of working the blade a little bit. And I mean, at least that's what I think I would do. That's how I kind of got mine started. To give him a real dull blade and just go, okay, come on, hop in here, and hold it for him. And you're kind of tugging a little bit harder, and it's starting to peel.
Just skinning it.
Yeah, just skinning
start
it.
there.
Yeah.
Keep away from the blood at that age, maybe.
That's amazing stuff, man. We're going to jump in here real quick from a word from our sponsors. But on the other side, I want to hear about, because I know Savage is in a little bit of everything. Where are they going, and the conservation efforts that you have your hands in and stuff like that, because that's a huge story to tell that we don't often get.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, here's a word from our sponsors. All right, Ruger, once again, a sponsor, and we really appreciate Ruger and Leupold for sponsoring this show. But let's talk about Ruger for a little bit. Their new Ruger American Go Wild series of camo, burnt Cerakote finish, available in a 7mm PRC. You're going to definitely want to check that out. You can find out more at Ruger.com. And Leupold.com, check them out. So here's a real quick tip on glass. What I like to do is, in my bino harness, I have a couple things. I have a lens wipe, and I have some lens wipes that are, with lens cleaner in them. And you're going to want to hold on to both of those. One to knock the dust off, one to clean your glass. Take it everywhere you go. And especially, Leupold just came out with the RX 1400i TBR with Mossy Oak Bottomland rangefinder. Definitely give that a look over at Leupold.com, but it comes in Bottomland camo and the TBR range finding capabilities and ballistic capabilities to sync with your gun. So give it all a look at Leupold.com. Gun Talk Hunters, we're back, and we're talking with Rob Gates and Adam, Mr. Hootie Hoo. You can find his stuff. Where can they find you?
All everywhere. Hootie Hoo. Put it in there.
Hootie Hoo. Who, T-E.
Yep.
Who.
Yep.
All right, so easy to find. Definitely go give him a follow, because it's entertaining stuff. Don't forget, when you're on his stuff, subscribe, like, ring the bell, comment. All those things. So go do that. And go check out Savage. You guys are doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, we, Savage is a 127-year-old brand.
Pretty young.
Pretty young.
Yeah.
We have 2 manufacturing plants, one up in Canada where we build a rimfire product, and centerfires in Westfield, Massachusetts. A lot of dedicated, passionate workers, craftsmen, really, down to every barrel we make is hand straightened. There's a group of guys that use a light box and an old tool with weights, and they make sure that barrel is straight.
I bet their handshakes, those guys are ridiculously strong.
They are.
They have that fist like iron.
But we brought this Impulse out. We've entered the handgun market with a couple products recently. We brought some 1911s out. We're really good at cutting metal.
1911s are
they're really, really nice 1911s from a production standpoint.
You would think one would think that like anybody entering back into the market, because you guys had
handguns years ago
would start out with something like, okay, here's going to be your entry level, then we're going to launch a little bit good, and then we're going to go to the best. But you guys started out at the top.
We did, and part of that is who we are. We're known. Savage is known as the most accurate production rifle. Some people say for your money. We don't believe that. It's just the best gun for the money. It's just the best gun, and there's a lot that goes into that. So 1911s, we made a really nice gun. Really nice. The fit, the parts. There's no memmed parts in it. It's all tool steel, so it's built to last, and they shoot really, really well.
Oh yeah, they shoot awesome. Have you shot one yet?
I have. A couple times.
Man, I'm surprised you're not carrying one right now.
We'll carry it in the very near future.
Near future, all right, good. So let's talk about a little bit about the some of the other efforts that Savage is into, and kind of where you're going, because I think that's something that gets lost on. They only think bolt action rifles, and we kind of touched on a little bit entering the the Savage stance, and now you got the 1911s. But what else is Savage up to?
We support all the major conservation organizations and NRA and all of the pro-gun type of organizations, but we really concentrate on who we are, and that's hunting. We're entering into other parts of the firearms market with handguns and some other products. We launched Renegade, the kind of the first semi-auto.
Yeah, we were talking about those last night.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a great shotgun, just from 2 3/4 up to 3-inch and anything in between, all sorts of ammo. It just works. It works really well. Point's really great. So we're building into some other areas of the market.
What's a lot different too, because when I know Savage and traditionally it's the black synthetic, and you guys have ventured into some more camo patterns and stuff like that. So that's good to see that you're working at that. And the Proof Research barrels.
A partnership with Proof on Carbon Predator and our 110 Ultralight. We do an Impulse Mountain Hunter now with a Proof barrel. Just it adds a little bit of a lighter barrel profile to the package. They shoot great, and it's got that carbon fiber. So people like that. It's something cool. And we're doing Cerakote. We're doing fiberglass. We're doing carbon fiber stocks, all sorts of things. Just expanding out. I like to say it's not your grandpa's Savage anymore. We're doing some really cool, higher end type products. We want to participate in the good, better, and best segments of the market.
And be heavy hitters in each of them.
Each one of them.
That's no matter what you choose, you know you're getting quality. So I have to ask this. We're going to move on from this. So I want to ask, Rob, you've hunted all over the place. You've hunted all over the place. I've hunted all over the place. What is your top 5 animals that you have left on your bucket list?
Oh.
They didn't know I was going to say this. So they didn't know I was going to say this. But we are out here at Melon Creek Outfitters. So my list goes like this, and I think I've said this multiple times. And we were talking about it in the truck, because here you're kind of driving around trucks, so you come up with conversation pieces. And that was a good hot topic one, because it was like, okay, Grizzly is my number 1, and I want a Kodiak. And I'd like to do it with a bow. But you already got one of those. See?
I lucked out on a caribou hunt and had a grizzly walk out.
It was his mistake, but you capitalized. But mine is grizzly, big mule deer. I haven't shot a big mule deer yet. Moose, wolf, and it's one that you shot, and I've finally landed on it. Like, yes, my number 5 has to go to American bison. And you shot one.
Oh, such a good hunt.
Really?
Oh, loved it.
Because you were supposed to go up to Alaska with me.
Yeah.
And just scheduling didn't mesh out, and I wish I would have, because you're so much fun to have in camp. But you got to shoot an American bison.
Yeah, and we got it all on film. That hunt is one of the most beautiful video hunts that I've ever done. It's in Colorado. Yeah.
So
what would be your 5 that you have left?
I went on a caribou hunt and didn't get a caribou. So caribou's number 1. Yep. Caribou's number 1. Wolf is right up there. Have not done that. And we've talked a lot being here in South Texas is Aoudad. That's right up at the top.
That might be close to number 6 for me.
West Texas, rugged rocks. I mean, it's a pretty tough.
And I didn't realize it, but Melon Creek, they actually do Aoudad hunts.
Yeah,
out west. They have leased land. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Aoudad. New Zealand. Got to go to New
Red
Zealand.
stag?
Red stag, tar, chamois. And to me, it's more about New Zealand and the culture and the destination and the beauty and the fly fishing in the rivers. And
is that what gets you on like to like Africa and to New Zealand and Argentina? It's the destination more about than the trophies.
We talked about kids earlier, and my wife and I have had a mantra from day one is we want to give our kids experiences, not things.
Yeah.
And the experience of, hunting ibex in Spain. Oh. It was so cool to harvest a great ibex. But my hotel room was in a rock, 3 walls were made of rock, and it was built in the 1400s, and so it's that kind of stuff that, like you said, Africa and the culture and the food and the environment that's so very different that go out and experience those things and save up, because it isn't cheap, but save up. Take a really good trip and experience some of those other cultures.
I like the idea, like we talk about raising men, and what I like that you do that I might have to start doing is like the big map on the wall, and they can mark off where they've been, and they can start checking those boxes.
And it's all black, and every time you go someplace, you scrape it off, and that state is blue.
My sister literally gave me that for Christmas.
Yeah, we did it 4 or 5 years ago for our kids, cool. And each one of them have it up.
I'm gonna have to get what that is from you, because that's just a brilliant idea, because it teaches kids that there is a bigger world out there. It is such a big world out there.
We get so tied up in our local, upbringing and everything else, and just go experience some other things and widen your horizon. It's a big world. It's a big country.
Lots of things to hunt.
There's a lot of things to hunt and a lot of things to eat.
Yes.
The food part of it is critical for me.
I gotta know Hootie Who's top 5.
Favorite hunt I've ever been on is Montana.
Okay.
I've gotten tags for Montana twice. Got 2 mule deer. My most favorite hunt was in the snow, horseback.
Oh my gosh.
Going back in there.
That's
with
like
my
a true
buddy.
Western
my buddy's
hunt.
name's Clayton. Horseback in the snow, Montana. Awesome.
Really?
Awesome. You see so many animals. Where Tennessee, I might go whitetail hunting and not see a deer. You go hunt in Montana, you might see 100,
Yeah. And then that's eye opening, because you'll see as many in one day as you would all year in some
or more.
parts.
But I've got these 2 goals. I want to shoot a whitetail with every cartridge, which that's going to take me forever, because I keep coming out with new ones.
Coming out with 7 PRC and all sorts of stuff.
We've knocked out most of the common stuff, and then I want a mount of everything.
So your 5 bucket list is more of like goals you want to achieve as a hunter.
Which on that list,
So
Aoudad is on there. I don't have Aoudad. Scimitar horned oryx.
I shot one of those last year, and that was.
And some of those are free range too. Then I have not taken a black bear. I need a black bear.
Don't do it, because you'll get addicted. Like there's something about black bear that I love. Oh, you're addicted. Yeah. I mean, you're way past that. Like you've got it bad.
Addiction is there.
Yeah, you've got it bad. How many freezers are you running currently?
We've got 2 that just pretty much stay full. Yeah.
Well, you said you bought another one.
Yeah, well, the whole buffalo took a freezer.
Oh, yeah.
Bison, yeah.
The whole buffalo, just one whole buffalo in there.
Good thing freezers, the cost has come down.
Amen. Because it would be bad on me.
That's like a cow and a half.
Oh, yeah.
A full bison.
Yeah.
That's a lot of meat.
What'd you shoot?
And I haven't done a caribou yet either. That's on my list too.
Caribou's up there. I just like I like the Alaska of it.
Yeah.
Or, the upper British Columbia, something like that.
The flights.
The flights. And the getting
camp
there.
And getting out there.
That's what this is about. Like, it's not like I've been down to this ranch before, but this has its own beauty.
Yes.
And I think you can find like beautiful things in every little place you go. But like, man, there's something in Alaska that keeps drawing me back, and and I don't want to go to Africa because of that, because I'm scared that it'll be
there's
like
100 more animals for the wall.
Yep, there's 100 more else. You can't go. Like you cannot go. We'll go.
And I tell you what, Africa is not, from a cost standpoint, it's costly to get there, but hunting the animals is not the expensive part. It's when you get them and
then you got to get them back.
That's
because you don't want to leave them behind, because that is, man,
that's the memory. I walk into my office every day and there's my warthog on the wall, and I think about that hunt and that shot. And well, that afternoon afterwards, we went to a local market and walked through where, you know, the locals are shopping and buying their everyday goods. And it was that, to me, I was just, that was cool.
Yeah. You know, it's supporting that culture and around there and giving back to the folks that are there. And that's amazing. It just, I can't do Africa. No, it would be a problem.
Alaska's my favorite. I agree with you. It's my all-time favorite. And it's just because of the pure beauty of every single
postcard
spot.
in every direction.
Every direction.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this last time I saw muskox for the first time, just saw it on the side of the mountain. And that was cool.
See, Dall sheep would make it if it wasn't so hard on the list.
I don't know.
That'd be a different training regimen for me.
Yeah.
The sheep tags are pretty much lifetime tags just about everywhere, aren't they?
Really?
Yeah. Like Montana, you can only draw it once.
I know in Oregon it's that way. If you draw a bighorn sheep, it's a one and done.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys off air for a hunt that you want to start applying for. I'm going to tell them off air though. I've already mentioned it. If you go back and you listen to other stuff, you'll hear me talk about this hunt. But it's a hunt that I think everyone should apply for. But it's a pretty cool hunt.
Oh.
I haven't drawn for it yet. 18 years in the making.
Wow.
Yeah. Still haven't drawn for it.
Yeah.
So you would
think.
It
can happen that first year for that.
Don't get me started. Don't be started. What's the problem is that we deal with this as there's a danger and there's good about bringing more and more people into our industry and into our culture. And I want everybody to become hunters. Bring them all on. I love it. We're equal opportunists here. But the danger is that you get that point creep and it becomes harder to get those tags that were normally like, hey, 5-6 years you probably will draw. But now
I just read some really interesting post COVID, whatever that is, numbers on the percentage of hunters that are now hunting out of their home state.
Yeah.
And it was up like 18%. Don't quote me on the numbers exactly, but it's 15 to 20% increase in hunters that are traveling now versus before COVID.
They're all starting to figure out, like, hey, we don't have a lot of time left on this earth, like every day.
This is only happening one time for us, and so take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we want all people to hunt because we want them to be able to come in and have a good experience buying, accurate rifles and stuff like that. But I went on that hunt that I'm talking about, helping a buddy drag his critter out. And when you got into that truck for them to drop you off at your station, all old guys, like it was all and I felt bad. It was like these 60 and 70-year-old guys that have been putting in for this for 30, 40 years.
Just trying to draw it.
And they finally get it, and they're not going to pass up because it truly is a once in a lifetime deal. And it's just sad to see that progression of is it going to take another 20 years for me to draw that tag? And if that is, I want to be able to do it to the fullest.
Right.
To
it
fully
takes that
enjoy
long to draw it, and you want to enjoy it and be able to enjoy it. And sometimes that gets tough as we all age.
Hopefully they fix it. I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In areas we're doing a nice job of the conservation part of what we do, and all our tax money and our excise tax money from the every gun that you purchase, 11%. Yeah, 11% goes to those efforts.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Same thing with archery equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11% or maybe archery's 10. But 10% of the cost of that broadhead,
that act.
Oh yeah, goes to Pittman Robertson and goes directly right back into conservation.
Yeah, preserving stuff.
Yeah,
but we don't need wolves in Colorado. However, that's going to happen. Apparently, there are already wolves in Colorado. It's going to be bad. That's going to decimate elk herds. They're not prepared for what's about to happen.
I went through.
That's another soapbox I could get on.
Yellowstone as a kid, and all the elk and the calves running around. And we just went back a couple of years ago. I didn't see a single. I saw tons of adult elk.
Yeah.
Didn't see a single calf.
Wow.
Anywhere, and it's because of the wolves.
Yep.
Yep. There's a place for sure.
Thrill killers.
Yep.
But anyway, we got anything else?
I want to hear about this hunt. I'm 52. I got to start drawing now.
You need to. Seriously.
Applying.
Just apply. Just get out there and hunt. That's the thing.
Yeah. Get out, shoot.
Yeah. All right. That's it. All right, gun talk hunters. Don't forget, keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.